Imagine this, you're a soldier, trained in warfare, survival, strategy. You're armed with a powerful machine gun. You're deployed to the Western Front. But your enemy, it's not another army, it's not even human. It's thousands of fast, flightless, feathery, determined birds. This is not a comedy sketch, this actually happened. Welcome to one of the most bizarre chapters in military history, the Great Emu War of 1932. A real war, fought between the Australian government and a flock of emus, and the emus won. Let's dive into how this all started, what went wrong, and why this surreal conflict still echoes in memes, textbooks, and military facepalms to this day. The aftermath of war. It all began in the aftermath of another war, World War I. Australia, like many countries, had to find a way to help returning soldiers reintegrate into society. To support veterans, the government offered them land in Western Australia, a vast, dry region with plenty of open space. The idea was simple: reward these brave men with farmland and help them rebuild their lives. So thousands of ex-soldiers took the government up on the offer and began farming wheat and livestock in the Campion district of Western Australia. But this dream of peaceful farming was about to get hit with two major problems. Problem one, a terrible economy. The Great Depression hit hard in 1929. Wheat prices plummeted, farmers couldn't make a living. Many were already angry with the government for not doing enough to help them stay afloat. Problem two, a bird invasion. And then came the emus, invasion of the emus. Every year, emus migrate from inland Australia to the coast. They're just looking for food and water. But in 1932, their path took them straight through the newly established wheat farms of Western Australia. And here's the thing about emus. They're big, they're fast, they travel in flocks, sometimes thousands at a time, and they are incredibly hard to stop. An estimated 20,000 emus descended on the Campion district, and they did what emus do best: they ate everything. They stomped through fences, they destroyed crops, they panicked livestock. To struggling farmers who were already facing economic ruin, this was the final straw. They needed help, and they turned to the government. The request for military support. The farmers were desperate, so they approached the Minister of Defense, Sir George Pearce, with an unusual request: send the army. Yes, the army to fight emus. And here's where the story goes from strange to completely absurd. Surprisingly, Pearce agreed. Why? Some speculate that the government saw a chance to demonstrate their strength and calm tensions with the farmers. Others suggest that Pearce thought it would be good training for soldiers, using live targets in open terrain. Either way, in November 1932, Australia sent troops to fight the birds. Operation EMU, Phase 1. Enter Major GPW Meredith of the Royal Australian Artillery. He was given 2 soldiers, 2 Lewis machine guns, and 10,000 rounds of ammunition. Their mission? Reduce the emu population and protect the farmers' crops. Simple, right? Wrong. From the start, Operation Emu, as it came to be unofficially known, was plagued with problems. Day 1, a total flop. The soldiers first encountered a group of about 50 emus near Campion. They set up an ambush, they waited patiently. That night, the signal was given. Fire! The machine gun roared. The emus scattered. Only a few birds were killed. Turns out emus don't stand still. They're fast, capable of reaching speeds of up to 30 miles per hour, and they run in unpredictable, zigzagging patterns. They don't bunch together like soldiers. They don't charge in neat rows. They sprint like chaos incarnate. The mounted machine gun fail. After several failed ambushes, the soldiers had an idea. Let's put the machine gun in the back of a truck. That way we can chase the emus across the open plain and mow them down. In theory, brilliant. In practice, a disaster. The terrain was too rough. The gunner couldn't aim. The emus easily outran the vehicle. Once again, barely any birds were hit. Emus strike back, it gets better. Major Meredith reported that the emus seemed to be using military tactics. He observed that they had a high command, with one large emu acting as the lookout while others fed. And when that one emu spotted danger, he would let out a call and the flock would scatter. Meredith wrote in his field report, "If we had a military division with the bullet-carrying capacity of these birds, it would face any army in the world." It was humiliating. They had guns, they had experience, and they had 10,000 rounds of ammunition. And still, after the first week, they had only confirmed a few dozen kills. Public humiliation word got out, and the press had a field day. Newspapers across Australia, and even internationally, mocked the entire campaign. Headlines like, Emus outwit army. Emus unstoppable. Farmers flock to bird battlefield. Some cartoonists even drew emus wearing military helmets. By now, the public was laughing, and the government was embarrassed. After just 1 month, the military was pulled out. The operation was deemed a failure. A death toll and damage, let's do the math. During the first phase of the campaign, 10,000 rounds of ammunition were fired. Less than 1,000 emus were confirmed killed. That's around 10 rounds per bird, and there were still tens of thousands of emus roaming freely. The farmers were still furious. The government was red-faced, and the emus, they were thriving. Phase 2, the comeback. But wait, it didn't end there. In late November, under renewed pressure from farmers, the government allowed Phase 2 of the operation. This time, the army tried more organized sweeps, and they saw better results. Roughly 100 birds a week were killed. But it still wasn't enough. By December, the government finally admitted that the military solution simply wouldn't work. On the aftermath, so what did they do? They handed the job over to the bounty system. Farmers and local hunters could now shoot emus and get paid per kill. This turned out to be far more effective than machine guns. Over time, the population was brought under control, and the government quietly buried the embarrassing chapter in the annals of history, but the damage was done. Australia had gone to war with birds and lost. Why did they fail? Let's break it down. Misunderstanding the enemy. The military assumed emus would behave like human combatants, but they didn't. Emus are unpredictable, fast, and hard to hurt. Inappropriate weapons machine guns are meant for dense infantry, not fast-moving, scattered targets. Poor terrain. The rough outback made vehicle chases and aim control impossible. 4. Overconfidence. They simply underestimated the birds. The legacy of the Great Emu War. Today, the Great Emu War has become an internet legend. It's taught in history classes as a bizarre example of military misapplication. It's the subject of books, comics, YouTube documentaries, and even video games. And there's something deeply symbolic about it. A modern nation, advanced weaponry, a structured army, defeated by birds. Nature, it seems, had the last laugh. Blog. What if it happened today? Just imagine. What if a modern military faced off against emus again? Drones, satellites, laser-guided strikes, would they still lose? Probably not. But would it still be ridiculous? Absolutely, and maybe. That's the lesson. That not all problems are solved with force. That sometimes you just need to understand your enemy. Even if your enemy is a 6-foot bird with strong legs, a tiny brain, and a stubborn attitude. Buddy, so the next time someone tells you a plan is foolproof, just remind them of the Great Emu War, where birds outran bullets, confused commanders, and walked away as the undefeated champions of the outback. If you love this strange slice of history, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And let us know in the comments. Please like and subscribe to the channel. What's the weirdest historical story you've ever heard? Until next time, stay curious. See you in the next story.